Aha, welcome, Moon Day, my moomins. I believe it is the 2nd of 2020, about 9:30 GMT. I am a giant. Stand upon my shoulders and tell me what you see. I see some fine scribes. I'm just going to get into the room and say hello. Brother K, Elvin, will be along shortly. He's been delayed, private business. He will be here as soon as. I have an update for you. It's not just a random chat. Prehistoric moment. Well, before history, everyone, there was man and there was animals and there was the plant kingdom, and it existed allegedly 200,000 years, 500,000 years, millions of years, whatever the period is. And then all of a sudden, at historical moments, we can reference man, other than footprints and trilobites and dinosaur bones, by monuments, buildings, things that they've actually left in their wake, rather than just existing, eating, fornicating and dying. They did all of that, and they built, they created, and then we can measure back and we can have a look, and that's obviously called history. And there are some dates in question regarding prehistoric, itself, the length of time, man itself, the existence. We're not here to discuss that, but thank you for, duly noted. And then there is the moment of the creation and, archaeological expeditions and findings. Göbekli Tepe, for one, India for number two, Egypt's Renaissance. And so we can measure and see, and we can find out what go on. Prehistoric, we're having now in 2020, a prehistoric moment, eras. I'm going to talk to you about an era, BC and BCE, before the common era, common era CE. So first of all, instead of BC and AD, there is also BC and BCE. BCE replacing AD, and BC and BCE before, and the common era BCE, before common era, and then after, where AD would be, is the CE, and that would be common era. So an era is like a measurement of time, an expenditure of such a measurement, a parameter. How long, good question, is a piece of string, or in fact an era? Answers please in the scribes if you know how long an era actually is officially. Have a look and see. That's one answer I'd like to know. So we are facing upon us with recent news reports that I'm going to give you about whether your partner is a valid partner, legislation, kind of backing up David Icke in a way and what he's been portraying, and the movement and the totalitarianism, totalitarian tiptoe is upon us, is upon your assets, property and rights. I'm here to say the video with that lady whose name I've forgotten momentarily, it will come back to me. Was it Claire Edwards? And the COVID-19 chaos and confusion that I put up has been taken off. I've had a telling off, and it doesn't matter. The message was put out there, and the information, this message of control, rights, liberty, attack, volunteer, and no defense, madness. So before Corona, in the old days, BC, before Corona we also say now, but before COVID, BC, back in old days, before I like the way the Borat movie kind of emulates a little bit of a COVID flat earth parody. Borat I'm not going to ruin the film, but for those that may want to watch it, but I've reviewed it, and tisk, and not funny, but there you go. We are going to talk about Songbird later, alright, so strap in, strap up, and don't strap on. That's not a prerequisite, but we do like word porn, word play, word seekers, It's all fair in love and etymology. I am a giant. Been listening to Rag and Bone Man to get powered up before this performance. There is no persona though. I've left that on the rewind selector, reboot, eject. Go again, Dave. Left that on the kitchen side there. All right, there is no persona. It's all real, live, BCE, into a new era, common era. We say the private era is just upon us. The zodiac, astro, theological, and etc. The syncretists, the synchronicities, the quantum enthusiasts, the hermeticists, I don't know, I could go on. There's a lot of words here that could rhyme for a while, but all of you and that and many more that I've missed. BK before COVID controller. I've put the K on the COVID just for fun, because more word porn and play. Songbird has really annoyed me. That's a big two fingers up to everybody who's awake and to everybody who's got more so than the hunt, more so than anything. If that, they say sometimes, oh yes, we can't really bring that out right now. It's a bit bad timing. The towers and the demolition of towers might bring back the remembering of such horrific, deaths that were caused by the towers collapsing themselves, and make no fun and light of that. That was real shit that went down upon us. Disclaimer, there will be mature language commanded. You may want to put headphones on or move to another room if you have young bloods around. I will not excuse my profanities this evening, and I will not excuse Kevin's. We are in the shit. I never come on and try to fearmonger. If you check the videos, we keep it real. But there's a time when, and now here's a prehistoric moment of Viva la Republic of New Britain. Shh, I know. Many things to update you on. So the songbird. What is a songbird? Why songbird? Who is this? What is it? I reckon we should boycott this, and it should be a flop. If you can get it for free, I'd argue maybe get it for free and review it with me. That's the kind of angle I'd be going at. Two fingers up to humanity from the Hollywood establishment, kind of from Borat as well. We'll get into that another time later on. I also want to mention about magistrates and these civil proceedings that are happening over telephones, the revelations of more bullish eyes and assumption, prima facie, administrative, totally abhorrent to what anything like Halsbury's Laws of England or any reputable High Court Crown, dare I say, my honour, banker, robe, official, black nobility. You get me, not Lord though, fiduciary, trustee, aka judge. It's bad. It's due process, and it's illegal, and it's happening right before our very eyes. The judges aren't judges; they're just merely arbitrators. It's not even. It's all business. They're getting bad at what they're doing. But you are getting good at what you're doing. You're getting things adjourned rather than letting them walk all over you, or you are getting to a point of contention where the argumentation of a great many areas and the correction of the trusts and the playing of the no contract, no consent, and asking upon for disclosure and holding them to non-vexatiously, honourably, referring to the paperwork with officers in the court is going down rather well. So high fives, fist bumps, and kudos to the ones that use a no process. Yes, we use common law. Yes, we use trust and equity. Yes, we use the person, the all caps person, the natural person, the divine person. A natural person is often said to be much like a natural yogurt, plain and simple. And that's what you get. So no matter how much you dress up your person, the creator is no respecter of our person. No matter how much you might want to adorn it with a decorative title, it is still quite vital that you stop it linking into Interesting. So, a prehistoric moment on many bones of contention. Man, will they exist? It's like a Harry Hill, meets Monty Python, meets I don't know what sketch here, which is about to be put before your eyes, and you are in it. And the moment is nigh. Telling you who you can have as a partner if you have got. Is the witness credible? What do you mean? Is the witness credible? Well, such things as like the government looking at legal action, missing 3 billion the tourists spent on private coronavirus contracts. That's 3 billion, Boris and Matt Hancock. That's what they've pissed up the wall for this nation, and here we are in this massive mess. Privy Council members and Eton public school boys that are actually from a private school, but it's called a public school. Welcome into the legal world, everyone. Yes, they're doing their job. They've embezzled 3 billion, and allegedly it's gone missing. Who's a trustee there? Can be found. Investment into companies. We've seen as well. That's really, really horrendous. What I'm talking to you about, the updates, the vexation. I wouldn't say anything else other than that. When I hear upon these facts that are brought to us, and how much companies have in collateral or when they was created, and then they get monies invested from the public sector. The rains coming off from the end of Brexit in December, giving London free rank over printing money, finance. What I mean is the reins from the European financial control and management as such, European all sorts relinquishing because we've pissed them off. They've pissed them off, and they're doing a different business deal. I don't know how regulated they will be in that, but stocks, shares, monies, businesses, small businesses, man, is taking a big hit. They seem to going full out for it in any which way you look. There is a pile of brown stinky stuff somewhere for something, and we see. We don't always believe, we are turning into giants. We are standing on the shoulders of them. We are dedicated to, non-violent, if I dare say intelligent. With these, it'd be a challenge. With the spirit of Caesar endowed, and with the soul of an Omega goddess, that is indeed the ingredient for absolute sovereignty, the sovereignty, etc. I did enjoy posting that earlier. So what can I say? I will have a look at the chat room. We'll say hello. Kevin will be in soon. There are some links for for the details coming through the usual portals. They will be coming in, in the fashion of which we need to move, because we've performed an assessment, a judgment in a way, us, you, I, and the impacts of the unethical disregard to fundamental human rights. Detailed and an independent assessment is that the UK of Great Britain government principles did not assess the impact of their actions. The World Health Authority and others are in the mix here, and they have decided on whom you may or may not partner up with in the new lockdown laws. This was June 2020 this happened, by the way. This is nothing new. Then we've got films coming out just to wind stuff up. The icon of songbirds is the phoenixy shape, an X10 era ending. Timing, piss take. I agree. The video that I put up there as a prerequisite to this chat, COVID-23, Hollywood casting spells, trying to program the minds of the masses. They are trying to literally show you the level of control that's potentially coming soon. This is a perception of a real, pandemic going to disappear tomorrow. It's as they've made it to be, less than 50,000 deaths in this landmass of Britain, England, UK presently. I don't make light of those deaths, but I dare say that they are not true, because if there is less than 50,000, there's been errors and mistakes and rulings on death certificates and family questioning. Too many shady areas of legislation have indeed come into play. We're finding out quite a bit. I've got a new word for rights, but I'm going to keep that to myself for a bit. We're going to share that through some documents, and those with the eyes will pick that up. It's not been made up. It's just a new word that was said in a chat the other day. So we rely on facts, the substance, the form, the matter, the evidence, and we also rely on your feedback, input with regards to legal controversies. It's going a lot better than it has done. Not everything's an easy win. Not every battle. When you're fighting with a claimant that's with the Crown Prosecution Service, and you've got a judge there who's also in the legal society with the claimant from the Crown Prosecution Service, then you've got some kind of courtroom setup that are all with the business venue there, that are all in some way probably paid by an arm branch of the Crown and the Crown Prosecution Service. So everybody in that room, even if you have a legal defence attorney at facts at law, solicitor brief, etc., and you pay them, they're in the law society. So you would be in a room in a business venue with no knowledge of anything, viewed as a child, and you would be the only one that isn't in the law society. Just imagine, you then got to bring claim that there has been ignorance, breach, no due processes is followed, they've not followed their own rules, less abled, vulnerable members of society are getting the rights ignored. I have asked a London barrister if they would argue that rights of property, ignorance of rights would be abuse, ignorance of property, so property, equity, remedy, property. It's only tangible but not intangible. These rights are unalienable, unalienable, inherent, born with at the point of being crowned from the waters of mum. So I'm sorry, we have to draw a line where we see these abhorrent manoeuvres. If man sacrifices them and gives them willingly, does that make it all right? No, because someone has to be here to regulate. We have to regulate I'm sorry if we have to, just for a moment, call them less intelligently abled. We've all been there. When none of us are on the perfect path. Nobody judges, but we all need a little bit of help from our friends that are now family, from the tribe. You divide the tribes, and then the tribes become territorial, as well as being under attack. Mass amounts of harm being done by lockdown implementations, more so than the actual virus. That's the catch there. That's the political conundrum, as well as the legal liabilities and the losses of all the businesses, and the amount of poverty, death, suicide. When you weigh up the figures, fam, what have they done? Why? What in the holiest of holiest ways could you weigh this up and say yes? And looking back on the facts there of the 2020s and the COVID-19 fiasco, we see that they handled it without faltering. Absolutely, you having a giraffe. There's a missing how much there? A missing how much? Did I say? Does anybody remember the figure and what they're doing? Is it missing, or was it on purposely embezzled onto a foreign tax haven offshore, of which there are benefactors to, certain things there that I don't want to say too much, but those with the eyes and the ears can see where Boris and Matthew and the gang and the council and the London, oh, we're very clever, aren't we? What do we do? Nobody will ever cotton on. They must have actually thought that we would never work out legalese, or never be able to work out a code, let alone work out where a potential surmisable amount of 3 billion, and for it to, I'm glad that they did spend that amount of money. That's what they've lost, but in addition to what they've not lost, and they have spent, and I do believe that this implementation as of November the 5th I'm glad we've avoided that, haven't we? There, by all of what the mask wearing has really helped. That was a fallacy in itself. Mask wearers and those that, I'm not here to divide, but just think. How long have most of us on this? It depends what landmass you're on now. I do appreciate that, to be fair. But on Britain, it's been said for some time, and then here we are with 4 times the amount the government predicted exploding. But let's not forget it's cold and winter, and there's a thing called the flu there, everyone, isn't there? The flu comes every time, and incredible loss of logic and sense, and coming from many areas, hearing stuff from the media about impending doom, and before the PM, yeah, what, surely, hey yo, this could be big, lad. Hello there. Are you ready? Are you ready to say hello to the fam? Oh, I'll put you on speaker. There you go. You can procrastinate away by my.
Evening all, hope all right. Sorry about the late appearance. People just rebelling, thinking they could just stay up as long as they want, ruining everyone's life. Just can't believe it. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Much love to you all. I see there's a few of you in the room. Let me ionic sideways.
Oh.
Anyway, what's going on?
I don't know, not a great deal. I'm just reviewing the news, the topics, the politics, the money, the bullshit. I have warned and give a disclaimer saying we are going to command mature language, and I will not apologise for the fact we're in the shit and they are really rubbing it in our faces. There's many areas you can go on, non-vexatiously, maturely, intellectually, sovereign capacity at all times. But shit's going down, big lad, and I'm glad you've joined. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I see it is. They go, no, it's okay, you don't have to go to bed. The broadcast started. So yes, here I am. It's all good. Yeah, news a bit up and down all over the place, isn't it? I'm waiting to have videos and documents removed, but so far so good. It's very interesting stuff going about at the moment. FOIAs and videos from an Irish journalist, Gemma O'Doherty, I think her name is. Yeah, all very interesting. No fact checking yet. What's happening, people? Apart from we're all getting the large one.
Implementations, measures, and just it's rife, isn't it? The machine is on full output to infinity. Everything is being questioned, and the way they're handling it, what they're doing, how they've done it. The red and the blues continue to create the colour purple.
Yes. Yeah, it's all a bit dark and undercurrents of real badness come in, and it doesn't make sense, and there's more and more voices saying the same from all different sides of life. It doesn't add up. So it's just incredible. And it's another lockdown that they've been, why? What, for a month? The 4-month one didn't work. Why is the month one going to work? I don't know.
They boarded up the White House in preparation for when Trump wins again. That was a funny little clip I saw. I was like, what's going on here? Trump live.
Right.
Hey, they're getting ready. It's like the boards. Wow. Perhaps they did that at Buckingham now, thinking on in case we rioted. Is that why they had some boards up allegedly and was renovating the palace there? What?
Hey, people, the way it's going, it might come to bringing buildings down. One in particular where I hope at least 650 people are sitting and the load that call themselves the Lords next door. That's the first one going up when it's full. Quick, give them another pay rise. That'll definitely fill it up.
We have to remember that yes, legislation, acts, and statutes are the same bald kettle of fish as we've always dealt with. They are for persons, they are public, they are coming from Westminster as legislative mandated rules upon legal persons and entities, legal entities as well. And it's by default, assumption and presumption. That's what we're here to ultimately advocate, protect, and sort this, business out, citizens, persons, settlors, grantors, trustees, beneficiaries, such positions, rights, and topics that we've found recently have stunned me again. Going through research, and we're doing all right, aren't we, Kev? In many ways now.
We are indeed. I hope we're doing all right quicker than they're doing all right. It's I don't know what's going on or what this. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. But yeah, we're doing okay. We're moving forward. We haven't stopped moving forward. Lots come to us recently. People like Simon and all the rest of it. Very interesting. Claudio, Bernie. Been really interesting. So yeah, there's lots going on and moving in the right direction, which is the main thing. I keep telling myself.
Yeah, good lad. Can I say I accidentally found out a fact about Gaelic and coming from Gal, Golf Alpha Lima, meaning white or pure. It has the secondary meaning of foreigner, connotating a stranger from far away. May originate with the Sumerian Ab Gal, meaning masters of wisdom. One of the great Celtic tribes was the Fir Bolg, B-O-L-G, Bolg, incorrectly and habitually translated as men of the bags, when in fact it really means men of wisdom. And when I read men of the bags about Gaelic and wisdom and far away and foreigner and Sumerian and Ab, I was like, hang on a minute, they had bags in the pine cone depictions, and was just going through etymology and lists, and that popped out. I must mention to David and Dove popped out. If there are any Davids or any Dove, I don't know, named or dovetail. Dove is in some names in, I don't know, some form. It means divide and indicates geometry. The letters of the word seen geometrically make the Star of David. The two D's become a circle. The A is a triangle. The V is a downward facing triangle. We devised the word dove from David. That's why there is a dove on the modern credit card, and why the royalty also used the symbol. In Spanish, I don't know why, but here we go. The word porn and seekers. The word for dove is Columbia or Columbanus, all right? Christopher Columbus, Christopher and the dove. That's where the Knights of Columbus possibly got their name. The District of Columbia, British Columbia, Columbia SA, Columbia Pictures, Records, Christopher Columbus, and Columbine High School, all derive from the meaning of the term and symbol. The name of Columbus was adopted by Christopher Columbus because he was in the pay of the Knights of Malta, possibly. The real founders and owners of America, possibly, some might say. Yes, Clarkson. We still see the pictures of the ships which Columbus sailed. On the sails was the red cross of the Knights of Malta. You will notice, also known as the Knights of Columbus, the Law of Flags, don't forget, fans. Another of their symbols, the dove, is also found on Greenpeace, or Greenpeace, and in the movie For Your Eyes Only, the criminal group of crack assassins used the symbol, the Knights of Columbus, trace their occult history from the actual assassins, possibly of the Persians. What?
What? Persian rugs? That's Cockney rhyming slang.
It is indeed. I just thought facts, words, I know you like them. I know you love them. You suck them up like a cold drink on a hot day through a fat straw. Paint the picture. Paint it. The Lost Keys, it's all part of the Lost Keys, the Vedas, you know, the books of the Hindus. The word is the same, that of the Eddas, the holy legends of the Scandinavian and Anglo-Saxon skalds, Skalds. The only thing is that these are peoples thousands of miles away from each other. Both Veda and Eda mean teachings of knowledge. See Veda. Abraham is from the Sanskrit Vedas, Brahma, god of creation. His consort was Sawaski. Curiously, the consort of Abraham, father of the Hebrews, was Sarah. Sarah and Abraham, Celebraham, the brain, Celebraham, two halves, yes. This god gave his name to Bacchus of the Romans and also to their Brumalia or winter solstice. This word through Latin actually derives from Brahma, the supreme creator, god of the Hindus, god who may be equated in some ways with Saturn and or Kronos. The connection between the Brahmins and the Romans had been carefully camouflaged. What's that, everyone? I said again, the connection between the Brahmins and the Romans has been carefully camouflaged. So let's not stray from the subject matter. Matter is the last one I'm going to share with you. Word porn seeker fans of etymological wonder and delight. Matter. It's from the heart, Sanskrit. It means the great flux, okay? The flux field of the quantum modality. Oh dear, what can the matter be? Well, here we go. Matter, Mahat, Sanskrit. And I've mentioned Mahat and Mahat before in some of the videos that I brought out from Egypt and the Osiris, Isis and such are the delights of...
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi, actually. Better be going in a bit. Mahat or Maat. I've never heard it said, so I don't know how to say it, but those that do, well done. I will continue on. So it comes from the Egyptian meat, giving words like mother, mass, measure, meter, mate, master. Okay, master, we know about that status as a little one, don't we? So master, matter. Master is one who is in balance, who operates in accordance with divine or natural law. Obeying Ma'at, when I say there's an Egyptian connection, okay? Obeying Ma'at or Ma'at, measures and mathematics arise from this Ma'at. Mankind discovered that number and geometry was inherent in the universe due to the menstrual cycle. What's that? I know, I said it, it's written. All number and calculation was therefore derived from and connected to the female body. What? I know, we continue on, stay with. Which is why the goddesses, well, we don't have any goddesses anymore. They're all male, the woman, the female, the sin of the flesh. Sorry, I continue on. The goddess was sacred, and it is sacred actually, because she's almost extinct. Being the origin of it all, today's science is possible because of the female. This is why math is a closed derivation of mat. The scientist forgets that the mystical traditions are therefore as scientific as their work. More so sometimes, Freemasons use the capital letter G, and that denotes 7 in the numerical reference, between the compass and the rule. G was an ideogram for the throne of the goddess Isis or Ma'at, they claim. Demeter, the Greek earth goddess, means the meter, mater, mother, from Ma'at. In the New Testament, we find Matthew, who was a tax collector and whose symbol was the scales. To be continued, I yield.
More is more.
Kind of character then, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah. Go on.
Well, yeah, etymology. Once you start going down that road, and say, then once you see stuff that even as you speak, you're pulling words apart. It's yes, another very interesting avenue if you have the not fortitude's the wrong word. If you have that sort of inquisitive, it's worthwhile. I must admit, I could spend a lot more time on it. I just don't have the time at the moment. But yeah, it fascinates me, and that's all your fault as well, Dave. By the way.
Good. I used to have personality disorder. Now I have my personalities in order. Welcome to Indiglo. Welcome. We've had a big up. We've had a win somewhere. Somebody that has recently joined us. We must keep them private, Kevin. But we can say that somebody has been involved in an incident, a party, and dealt with it well in a private way, had it recognised non-vexatiously, was the only member of the party not to be arrested, not to have DNA and fingerprints taken, and not to be subject to statutory, regulatory, civil control by the local members of the private business that make out they're actually the government police force. So for this civil matter, well done to that private...
Fair play.
Yeah, do you want to comment more?
Well listened, well executed, non-vexatious, as I say. I'm sure they were pushing to wind the situation, which is the bit you mustn't rise to, exactly what they want. Did very well for, I don't know how long, been involved in this path. I really don't, but fair play. As I say, when all around you are getting TNA'd and arrested and etc., and you're with them and you don't, then you've done something right, haven't you? So fair play. That's an excellent result for that man. Really good. What can I say? People taking note.
And everyone's turning into Nero, and they're all setting fire to Rome, and they're going to have to go home, the Club of Rome, with a totalitarian tiptoe from the Castle Grayskull with Bumra and Skeletor coming to reap with their scythes and sickles, and Thundercats are learning to say ho, no, yo, go home, etc. Rome, no throne. And we've seen through history, I mentioned prehistoric moments before man, legally, privately, we're having a era moment, zodiacs and BCE, CE, BC AD, and quantum wise, time wise, calendar wise, many reasons for a private era is upon us. Aquarius shall deliver the information required for all to effectively navigate the seas a lot more honourably. The results and the testimonies and the effectiveness of what you're applying is being fed back. Yeah, there was something tickled you.
The remedy to get you all out of death row in chat language.
Oh, that would be a top seller. Proper bow, I tell you. Sheffield, you need it in dialect, so then they could actually, like Barnsley, say things proper. No disrespect, they're quite loving and caring and honest, salt of the earth folk, but the language, you need to know certain words mean what, otherwise you're lost. In other areas of these dialects and words and slangs, and you need to when chav language is quite it's a respectful thing to have, because it's code speak, and one thing we've learned is symbols will be their downfall. Oh yes, Rome and code. If anybody uses code speak, what did I mention when I found out about crypt walking? Oh my days! I'm like, you what? They used to do what? They used to speak by dancing, and the police didn't know what they were saying. Yeah, they used to learn some like sign language, but it was in the form of dance. I'm like, oh wow, I'm a language man. I seek the language. That is my language porn. And show me more. And crypt walking. And oh my days. Wow, yeah. Ingenious, but codification is the key there. Not so much the dancing, the funkiness, the style, the flair, the genre, the nobility of such a thing. Nobility, it's drugs, Dave. Yeah, I know, but it's against the system in some form. And it was to, I'm sure, better themselves in some way. Misguided. Don't judge them, forgive them. They know what they do. We do draw a line, though. It clearly says that the rape, pillaging, buggery, etc. We've got some commandments which we can all agree on, I'm sure. So it will come to them in due course. Exciting times.
Lisa's made it. Hello, Lisa, by the way. Hope you're...
Oh, we haven't said hello to anyone yet. Yeah, go on then.
I was just going to say, she put in there, David and Kevin, teachers will show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see, which is perfect. I love that. Thanks, Lisa. James, hope you're both okay. Well, it's for everybody's interpretation, not for us to dictate that, or, that's what it's all about, individual interpretation of what is before ye. So, I really appreciate that, Lisa. Thank you.
The information.
Yeah, loads in the room.
Yeah, hello. Good evening. I just want to, just before we go anywhere else, I've got one more piece to read you, and then we can just all be casual and at ease. But it is like a 2-minute of high intense information. If you haven't watched and read,
that means 10.
No, trust me, watch. If you haven't read and seen the ancient Roman trusts information I recently put out there again from the archives, Nero setting fire to Rome. It happened, but maybe he wasn't crazy. He and the Roman Senate arranged that one, and perhaps it was staged, we'll say, and blamed it on the Christians as perhaps of a distraction. Great Fire of London 1066 echoes through. Okay, remember their plans and strategies. So we continue on. Problem is that the fires were predominantly set in Christian section. So what was behind this? After the fires had burned out, the Roman Senate created a land trust, okay? And into the land trust, they entered all of the estates of the Romans who owned property. When we say the trusts were, this is when the trusts were first used by the Romans, and why when we reference that, because we get many questions about it, because we mention biblical trust, but we don't seem to, SPLs doesn't. So once again, they did that. Registered their properties, who are Romans who own property. Then by royal decree, they declared that all of those property owners who had died in the Great Fire, sound familiar again, and the Senate were appointed the trustees for these estates. As trustees, they could demand a percentage of the crops and excessive taxes. If the owner couldn't pay, they would go to prison or surrender their daughters as bond slaves. Back in the day, women belonged to the dad, and then but this is how it is, not me, I wasn't there. Back in the day, women belonged to the dad, point blank, period, full stop. Then when the husband came along, then they belonged to the husband, and you look at the old style of vows from the church to reference all of that, so when I speak of this, it's not necessarily our agreement, or we are not promoting this or affiliated with it, but the history is bloody and nasty. In Greece and other places, if an Omega was raped, the man usually had the rights to her then, because he'd kind of already claimed by doing that, and it was like a way of, and people used to meet that way. All right, history is not, when you get into it, sometimes you just want to cry and turn away, but you continue on, like Caesar and an Omega. So you would either go to prison or surrender your daughter as bond slaves. If the original owner died, the estate was sold, usually to a member of the Senate, and the gold held in the trust. All that the original estate owner had to do to stop this insanity was to hire a scribe and agree that he did not die in the Great Fire and was in fact alive and quite capable of managing his own estate and serve it on the Senate. Now, how does that sound? Does that ring a bell?
That sounds remarkably similar to another process.
Right, we continue on, and this is old school. Few Romans were intelligent enough to know what to do, and subsequently lost everything. All land deeds in colonial America, England, everywhere that we've seen the takeover of with the with the capital, the church and the state mergers and central banks, etc. The church is established, and we'll leave it there. You all know what we're on about. So all across, from England Europe, America, all land deeds used to be allodial deeds, which recognised the individual sovereignty and ownership, point blank. Whereas fee simple deeds, the only recognises the state and are open-ended deeds that are never closed or finalised. So what does that mean, you ask? Allodial recognises you as the king, queen, owner of the land. You make the rules on your land, and nobody and no government can trespass upon your property. You are the king. You are revered and respected and have an absolute right to use lethal. I'm not endorsing this. I'm just telling you what this definition, and putting it in, but possibly common law defence. So you have the right to possibly, potentially, absolutely use lethal force to protect your property when blood, assets, and your family's your property, not just your intangible rights here. Property comes in many classes, so we use this term loosely and at law levels, all law levels. No government can tax your land, and the titles are passed down from parent to child. Now, what happens in the world there of Britons and England when a lord dies and so forth? Who gets the land? Is it up in a lottery, or is it given to his son and put in a trust, given to his son and passed down and put into a trust? So they inherit that. That's the allodial title. And no bank will ever lend money against an allodial property because the bank has no way to foreclose and grab it. It will lend money against your chattel, livestock, or crops, though. And we move to fee simple, and recognises you as only tenant on the property. A state makes the rules on your land, and anybody can trespass upon your property. You actually lease the property from the land trust, which belongs to the Holy Roman Church. The deed can only be passed down to family members upon your death, but not before your descendants open an estate in probate, which means that the state receives a percentage of everything the descendant, the deceased once owned. If the descendants are short of cash, then the property is auctioned off for a loan. Mortgage can be obtained from a bank in a loan situation. The deed to the property... All right, lad. The deed to the property is encumbered by the bank. This means that the bank is entitled to be satisfied first. If the loan mortgage is defaulted on for non-payment, this process is better known as they go into repossess or foreclosure, repossessions, etc. The banks have arranged for the Vatican, the judge, the clerk, the bank, and the lawyer to each receive a piece of the repossession or foreclosure. If you are unmarried and you fail to leave a last will and testament, then the state will reclaim your property and leave your descendants with nothing. With this change in deeds, a land trust was created for these fee simple deeds, and the Holy Roman Church was designated the owner of these trusts. The state and the courts have become the trustees, and we have become a corporate tenant. Now here's where things get a little bit sticky. In every trust, there is an owner, a trustee, a beneficiary. Owner, settlor, grantor, when I say owner, a trustee and a beneficiary. The settlor, grantor, owner cannot be the trustee, and neither of them can become the beneficiary. So we ignorant human beings have been appointed as the beneficiaries of the trust. Into the trust they have entered, other valuable property, birth certificates of corporations, certificates of social nature, accounts converted into national security, marked as national mutual fund investments, and it goes on and it goes on. So there's a lot there about the Roman. The tax guarantees that you can never own or reside on that property without paying. Whatever happened to that nest egg we were taught to believe in? Your lawyers set up that tax debts too and receive a large percentage of your first tax bill. Caveat emptor. Yes, indeed, Kevin. Yes, let the buyer beware. Beware of the politicians, the legalese, the lawyers, the ecclesiastical laws of England, Ireland, France, America now give the Pope absolute superiority over all government laws. Decisions and orders governing these countries that would normally be a reasonable concession to God However, the Vatican seems to be a cult and is all about power, control, and wealth, masked by the veil of a national religious cult, supervised by as we've come to learn, the false vicar of Christ, and was warned about. Those who know the good book and the chapters, many will come in my name, lest ye be deceived. In all fairness, many of the individual parish priests are gentle, religious, and well-meaning people who are just as confused about everything as we all have been. It is the Jesuits and the priests who are prompted to bishop and cardinal who you need to be wary of. These are generally more politically aggressive and corrupt, and they are religious. So I'll leave it there. You know, the UK, United States Parliament, Congress adopted the Holy Bible as one of the organic laws of the United Kingdom and the United States. Organic means a foundational law. Pope Innocent III missed during his editing of the Holy Bible is the fact the Bible eliminates enforcement of all man-made laws in the first 5 books, which then becomes another prime example of the laws of a corrupt government contradict each other, and as long as they are in power, they don't really care. So yes, Rome is going home. I end and yield there. Where's my 3 billion pounds?
And oh, it's coming, mate. With a big caveat emptor attached to it.
I'm going to post a link into the chat room, which has got a link into the June story of a report where they're saying about your partner. Are they relevant? Are they vetted? Have they been checked? Are they credible? Are they a vested, worthy interest of yours, or is it something which needs to be looked at more? Who knows? Just have a gander. I'll put stuff in the description later. But welcome to the man in the Scottish region with the Scottish officers. Well done to the Scottish officers as well for being honourable, knowing their duties, double checking with higher ranking officers and senior ranking officers, constables, inspectors, etc., and saying, actually, turns out you're aim. So that's a nice little thing that we often miss, that they didn't enforce, they didn't do anything. It's not like it's them and us. If you know and you handle and you stay calm, wonderful things can often happen. That's what Kevin told me.
Yeah, I made it all up though.
Let's look in the room. I'll see the comments. Hello, Lisa. Research reality.
Excuse me.
Jerry, Stephen. Who else we got there in the room? Fly. I've had a chat with quite a few of you. We're well impressed with what you're doing and how you're doing it, what's happening, the results. Have you got anything paper-based you wanted to maybe say? Is this the place for paper-based revelations, or is that just what's the other place, Kev? Paper-based.
Say that again, mate.
Paper-based format. Is that anything you might want to mention to the scribes or the room, or is that just for the private? Is that a revelation that might be of interest, or?
I'm a bit lost.
Instead of doing it in real life, you can do it in virtual reality, the assessment, and you can do it with paper-based.
Oh yeah.
Is that something you might want to mention?
Sorry, mate. Miles away. I thought.
Are you okay? You sounded like you've been dying for a bit there, and I just thought, is he all right?
Yes, I'm all right. So anyway, yes. Furthermore, if you're, telephone assessment, we all know face-to-faces are off for the moment, so if it's telephone, you can ask for a paper-based assessment, which means they have to use the medical evidence they've got, which is interesting because I'll go into that in a sec, but there's a lot of people that are anxious, and I know why. We're dealing with these people, and they get in a bit of a 2 and 8 when they have to, correspond with them in any way, especially on the phone. So you can ask for a paper-based assessment, and then I think if you think about it, ultimately, if they downgrade you, or if you're already getting it, or if it's a new assessment, then we go in and challenge the assessor's qualifications, blah, blah, blah. But don't forget, if it's a people that you're forcing to use your medical info for a paper-based assessment, people aren't qualified to have any of it in the first place. So you it's a bit of a trap for them, but you say you will then be able to go back and challenge exactly who has made this diagnosis. That's the bat signal coming in, people, if you can hear that. I've just got to let the dog in. Hello. Come on. Right. Yes, so paper-based assessment. If you don't want to do the telephone, and force them to do it on your medical evidence, and then obviously if they jerk you around, you can challenge who made that decision quite easily.
Boom. That's well done. Thank you.
Sorry about that. A little bit of distraction there. Yeah. They don't tell you about paper-based because they want you to go down their route. But they can't deny it to you. But they won't tell you it's available. The dirty feckers. So there's another little option, because we have just recently been dealing with a few people, one in particular who's really in the 2 and 8 dealing with these people. A lot of damage has been done over the years, and now she just gets in a state that it's not fair. So yeah, that's very new information. Came through via somebody else we were helping. So there you have it, hot off the press, within 7 days anyway. There you go.
Well done, thank you. That's interesting. It might help some out, so those that don't want to go down. Is there any prerequisites or any special requirements or criteria that you have to meet, or can you just say?
No, well, if you're applying for PIP ESA, you're going to have to have at least been signed off. You might be getting a medical certificate every month, every 3 months, every 6 months. You might have a long-term one like myself. So yeah, you've got the same criteria as before. You've just got to have those in place that say basically you're unfit for work, which is what everybody needs. And as I say, but you're forcing them to use your medical. What's coming on the paperwork, they want to talk to you like a pleb on the phone, ask you pointless questions about can you pick up an empty box and all the rest of it. That sort of shit.
Yeah.
Which is nonsense. That's why they want you to take part in it, because they are making the decision. But none of it's to do with anything lawful or required. So,
or medical.
Paper-based assessment, yeah, or indeed medical, nowhere near medical. So, force it into the medical by saying, I'd like a paper-based assessment. Don't say please, I require at best. And if they get shirty, demand it.
And is everybody entitled to that option?
Yeah, anybody subject to any type of assessment is eligible to have it done paper-based, what they call paper-based assessment. Doesn't matter whether it's work capability, PIT, DLA. I know DLA's for the younger people, 16 and under at the moment. Yeah. If you're, I don't know what else is going on across the country. Possibly a lot of people are all just forced on universal credit now.
In debt, there's a lot of debt happening. There's debt central everywhere. That's what's going on. Arrears, debt, struggling payments, credit, loans, mortgages, rent, all kinds of rent, food, shopping, tax, just ridiculous amounts of I dare say step change. You're going to get a lot of custom.
Yeah, just to say, look, this is what annoys me about these fucking entities. Excuse my French. I tried to leave the leading word off of that. It's deception. You see, they only tell you what you're not entitled to, basically. It's outrageous. All these people getting in the 2 and 8 and messed up and screwed over, but going along even with these... How can you be assessed on the telephone anyway? Please tell me. How can somebody see your physical, mental, whatever the disability is, illness, over the telephone? It's so ridiculous. And it's an excuse for them to get you sanctioned, so you have to fight to get the stuff back, even though you've got a good 95% chance of overturning it. They just drag it out. It'll take you 6 months to get it back. But that's what the game's about, because some people just go bollocks.
So it's a good point.
Worse.
If you get offered a telephone assessment, you can then say, I would like to use the option of I require a paper-based assessment, thank you. And then get back to us if they say no. Thank you. The telephone assessment is not suitable. The telephone assessment is not suitable. I require a paper-based assessment.
Well, don't forget, they're not mandatory anyway. So you can go, no, it's not mandatory, but I'd be more than happy with a paper-based assessment. Jesus, how much more conforming can you be?
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? You're going, hey, look, I know that's not mandatory. I don't want to do that. So it's not mandatory, so I don't have to. But to keep it sweet, let's do it on paper. So there's nowhere for them to go. I mean, I'm not saying they won't do it on the paper, but then you can go back. If they screw you over, you can go back and say, who was this? What were their qualifications to read that? Can they die? Because all the stuff they've got to read has been written by consultants. There's very little in your medical notes from your GP.
Yeah.
He's got separate notes. So all the stuff in your medical notes is from consultants and specialists, and so the people that need to read that have to be at that level. I don't need to go over this again, but that's where you're going with it. It's just all I'm saying is it's another way, one, to take the pressure off of speaking on the phone to these pricks who are going to shaft you anyway, and just force them into the medical grounds, which that's where they can't be. So then it'll just give you some clout down the line. Well, they're not medically qualified for anything. So how did they read my notes? Oh, sorry, we've made a mistake. We're going to put you up to this, that, and the other. That's how it's going to go. So yeah, anybody nervous, anybody don't want to talk to the twats on the phone, paper-based assessment. I require, don't please or thank you. Tell them, that's what I require. Thank you very much. So yes, that's another one too. Go on the books.
Nice one, brother. You're always giving. Others that you've helped have offered to give you. I'd like to make it publicly known, to declare and decree that Kevin has said no to all remuneration of any kind. He just says, I don't care. I'm not in it for the money, Dave. I just like helping. But we're getting old and tired, so we're going to do something about that. And also we're going to get some short courses like what we would do and say in certain situations that we've done many times and had the same outcome, such as removal of agents and officers for civil infractions and debts and accounts and that, recovery clamps, all kinds of scenarios. So the common most issues now before man is debt, repossession, horses, houses. Obviously young bloods come first, your family comes first, that's that's already there, but to protect them you need assets. And the great Did I see something you shared earlier, Kev, about a company getting millions of pounds that's been open 7 days or
7 weeks? I put a post up. We were chatting about it. No, it was in a comment. You put something up the other day. I replied to you with a comment, had a bit of a rant with a couple of F words in there. And a couple of other people passed comment, and I mentioned about a 7-week-old Tory peer connected firm with 300 quid in assets, nothing going on at all, get 100 22 million, I think it was, pound contract. Isn't that brilliant? 7-week-old company. What a result. Anyway, I put the post up. I put it in FB today. I put it actually under the comment that I made the other day in your thread, etc., etc. Yeah, absolutely. So,
120 million.
122, I think it said.
Good lad, for a 7-week-old company. That must be a another Finchley Road special.
Yeah, doing no action, nothing going on the books, 300 quid in assets. Bosh, have that. Result.
7 weeks old, 300 quid assets, 120 mil from your government. That's what they're doing. This is what we pay attention to, while the others are elsewhere. And that's fair enough. It's a big job. We've all got our jobs to do.
12 billion to Serco for track and trace. That's Churchill's grandson Soames, and allegedly owned by Prince William himself. Allegedly, I cannot confirm nor deny. But that's not gone anywhere. What did they put it on? Some basic spreadsheet, so it all went tits up in the first place. That's just £12 billion that's been robbed from us. Exactly the same as a £122 million contract. Exactly the same as all the contracts that went out to PPE during the last lockdown.
It's a good job we are.
It's a good job we are. Ridiculous.
Well, it's a good job we are trading in bankruptcy and insolvency and trading in credits, because if we did actually have anything, you see, we'd be shafted. But as there is no actual real value to these numbers and millions, and the 3 billion that we posted and just had a look at with the health department and Boris, and wow, it's getting the numbers. You can't actually. I've got 3 billion, and that was from a major. Chronicle online, admittedly, but they are big in the game. Big, they get it good most of the time, and the game of life. So I just thought, it's with the legislative orders and rules that are being passed, and that was June. That it was about but now moving forward to next year, or to the end of this year, Songbird, the film, the blockbuster. That's just I'll put a video on the channel that's still there. You can have a look at COVID-23 lockdown extravaganza. They've got the I don't know what they've done here. What have they done? COVID on steroids. Would that be a good description? Wait, some kind of MK Tavistock merger where they produce Godzilla meets something like the end of the world, the last days type film meets Gremlins. It's one of them where they give out messages and make it all fictional, but it's kind of a soft blow for the conscious, those that are aware of the government control, MI5, Ultra, Tavistock and beyond, techniques, shadow and other things that have been disclosed, non-disclosed, alien space. It all merges into the same branch umbrella of darkness. And that's not to say that being in the dark is an evil place, but the darkness of which their intent, they don't, no mankind benefits from this. And some of the stories that allegedly come out and the uses of quite dark and disturbing, to say the least. What we've come to learn through the freedom of information alone, never mind conspiracy. That in itself is enough. Songbird is here to stick 2 fingers up to humanity and say it's coming, get ready, here's our bill with a lovely jelly baby for you to chew on, and a bit of a nice drink for you, or a magic sweet that's going to fix everybody. Madness. So we continue to laugh and cry and wonder, and it's a good job we have no money.
We try to laugh more than we cry, but it's getting harder.
The magistrate, the telephone assessment on the magistrate side of things for civil and family issues is getting to be an issue. You are having some are going into courts and effectively police efforts and non-courts, but are pretending to be courts that are just the same, bankrupt, dissolved, entities, business domains, trying to pretend to be the crown that aren't any in a London city crown court ever, and your interaction and using of all of the above you're now using to learn. When we said you shouldn't mix jurisdictions, that is indeed correct. Use one at a time per instrument. Don't chuck all jurisdictions onto one instrument and go padang. You have to move through the game. And what you've learned to do is you've taken that quest and you're picking up things along the way to the end goal, which be judgment one way or the other, or escape, or the private. And you're picking up your power ups and you're getting your health and your medicine and your weapons and your shields and your swords, and then you're going to see the knights that say knee and ask for a passage across the bridge. And some of you getting passage, and some of you are improving massively in the areas of, and you're using multiple areas of the common law, the private equitable side, when the rulings of law and equity collide, then etc. There is no argumentation. You're learning to compel, you're learning to get performance, you're learning to be non-vexatious. Education is a wonderful thing. The courts aren't getting their free meal, even if you don't make it. Remember that you tried, you had a go. Every day is a learning curve. Pick and choose your battles, especially the legal ones, wisely, and know the wins and the weigh up the pros and the cons, wins and the losses.
There's enough info out there now for people to realise some of these fights are futile. At present.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just best to take it on the chin and go, I'll just settle that one.
Stephen, I didn't say hello to you. Rose. Oh, researched. Rose, where did that come from? Bert's in the house. Hello to Bert. And Lisa, did I say hello to? Yeah, what else are we doing here then? We're going to get off soon because I am tired, and we just come on to review, say hello. We didn't come on Saturday. Sunday we were tired and busy, so yeah, we're doing well. You're doing well. It's doing well. There's a game on, and choose your move wisely.
Yes, I wasn't in the best of places yesterday. I phoned Dave up and said, I can't. Just one of them days. It's been a weird few days. I've gone from happy, sad, bit sadder, happy, really happy, excellent, fuck it, suicidal. It's just been bouncing all over the place. Crazy.
I had a horrible 4 weeks. Thank you for that. I'm gonna join you. Segue for me to say, get the violin out, everyone. 4 weeks. I struggled with. I didn't have the media on. I wasn't watching COVID Express. 2020. I was doing other things and occupying myself, but I found it hard to sleep, hard to focus. Energy, weird things. I know there's planetary and zodiacs and other magnetic things going off with the realm, volcanoes erupting, shifts are happening, Mother Earth, Gaia, alignment, who knows? Interesting though, nevertheless. And the 4 weeks, and then the turbo replacement happened and it went kaput. The replacement turbo, and they're very expensive and they take a long time to do. And I had to get another one sorted, and that took further time and effort, and it was just a horrible 4 weeks. And so everybody that was messaging, interacting, chatting and whatnot, I want to say thanks for looking after me, and to you as well, Kev, for pulling me out the hole of
Shite.
That's the one. Nice one. We all look after one another, and it's a short trip into the despair. But when you've got deep depression, serious depression, depression comes in many forms, and it comes with post-traumatic stress. It's a disorder, and you have to deal with it. Some of us have to learn to live with it, so others can conquer it, and kudos and well done. So thank you, and I yield.
Well, you did the same for me not so long ago, but yeah, it's been a strange old time. You've had it particularly harsh in that respect, is that everything was just playing against the very thing you needed to do, which was go and do a bit of graft.
We're doing the
What a
graft
nightmare.
now, yeah, but it's not that. I feel the responsibility. I feel it's self-appointed. I feel the requirements and the and what they what we've said is we can get you to be officially recognised in the private by the 22nd of December 2020. I did that because I firmly believe that there is a notion and a motion to get out of the ocean, and we will be moving with that. I said to Kevin in a private chat that sometimes we know we've won a battle, an argument, a legal position with a lawful position rendered to in a timely fashion in accordance with. Before we've sent it, we know that this is a game setting match and we haven't even got to the end yet. But I said, so in that same premise, when you hear something, see something, judge it, get the full picture, and you know where you are, and you know what's been breached and where the downfall will be, and then there can be no moving forward from that point if successfully proven breaches and disregard and abuses and etc. was the case. And so yeah, it's it's the time and the place there of where we're at and an indication marker to that.
Yes, been a long time coming. It'll be interesting though.
Yeah,
Some responses.
interesting.
That's the main thing, isn't it? Steve, good night, mate. D, thanks for stopping by, mate. Good to see you. See you this afternoon in the private.
I've lifted my son out and got out. You've helped me. The fact there's a media outlet. I've had to laugh at Russell Kane. Had chats with you privately, emails with the fam, the clan. I'm lucky because I have a lot of incoming contact and yeah, it's. I tell you what it is. It's the mental state. Those of us that have an intellect that is of a certain makeup, position, composition. I don't know, constitution, all of the above, and we're similarly built, wired, personality, interests, energy, diet. All of these things you might think are quite individual and unique, but if we looked at us on a spectrum with habits and creatures and the way that you could be classed as a songbird, somebody that let me think, linking it back into the theme tune. Songbird is somebody that would be honourable and good in some kind of slang aspect of, and we just got to recognise that we've got the strengths and the capabilities. We've got a lot about us, and we can easily get on like we've known one another for a long time, when actually we haven't, and that's because of the qualities of dropping the self, the ego, not having any pretentious ideas and expectations of one another, and probably being through the shitty end of things for quite some time, just to can't be asked to care. Can't be asked. There was one time when I needed the labels and the designer things, but them days are gone. And our demographic is not so quite spring chicken, and we've got to, yeah, and it's just nice to be able to connect with ones that haven't, and then get along like you said, Kevin, having 3 hour chats for the first time. That's how it rolls.
Yeah. Mental. First time you speak to people, just and off the cuff, sort of admit, somebody might say, "Oh, do you fancy a chat?" Yeah. 3-4 hours later, you think, "Christ." Just incredible.
We're all chatterboxes. We've all got similar things to offer. We've all got similar creatures of habit and anxiety. The brain that we have, most of us, initiate brain, self-scholar brain, sovereign brain, all kinds of names. But that brain, when it gets out of control for too long, and you try to fight anxiety and angst and fear, and you start to have to learn to pray a bit more, and you're like, good Lord, because let's face it, when any of us pray, if we're not, and I don't think any of us are overly religiously fanatical, as even as a hermeticist, using, when I say pray, I don't mean holy, I mean actual real, we've told you where we're at, the hermetical side of praying, and the law of attraction, the power of intent, the quanta side of it, all is a tongue. So when you learn how to do that and you start on another path, That one is a truly one, because then unique one, because then you start going, oh God, okay, when was the last time I had to pray for something? I must be desperate if I need to pray. But the sad fact of the matter is that it's not a desperate thing to pray. That's what they taught, generally do, in the knees, lower vibration. But if you can pray, from what we're finding, and learn to command, when we say command language explicitly, and warn you, and we communicate effectively and honorably, emotionally, etc. When you can command your thoughts out there into something in a holographic pixelated universe of non-Romanness that's different completely, that just Romans happen to be in and have messed it all up, amongst others, but mostly these lot. It's interesting. It really is. There's more power, and the experiments that we find to prove that existence of, is interesting. Yeah. So going through a prehistoric moment where man is going to leave their mark and claim their property titles. If you want sovereignty, you can call it whatever you want. They've got to accept it. So get ready. Get ready for the private era, BC, E and CE, and obviously BC and AD, and now we're going into, I need a private one to go with that, PCE, private common era, no, PE, private era. It's a bit simple, PE, but that's effectively as it needs to be, going from the BCE to the CE to the PE, you get me? Oh, wow. It's about time. And an era. How long is an era? Nobody answered that question. Exactly to the minute. How long is an era? I know how long an eon is, but not an era. They're all unique and individual, I do believe.
Yeah.
Specific to the civilization at hand. Come on, Dave. Yes, you're right, actually, Inner Dave. That's what Inner Dave sounds like. So annoying. So annoying. And when he's right,
Who's living a day like this?
yes, Dave. You know, like the Eeyore type from Winnie the Pooh, is it? Deary me. Sarcastic, though. More sarcastic. A hint of Crichton with Eeyore. Touch of Dale Winton. Bit of Lily Savage. Some Dave Allen. And that's it. That's Inner Dave. Nasty. Annoying. I could have got some Peter Kay or some... who's that guy?
But you got
Joe.
Peter Kay, definitely.
A bit, yeah, somewhere. I think that's the only good bit. Who's that guy you like with the beard that tells some funny stuff?
Gervais.
No, Joe. Somebody from the panel show.
Oh, Wilkinson.
I like him.
He's mental. Brilliant. That poem he does. Just one of the best things if you can. Yeah, that's painful to watch. That make you laugh. That naming people's penises. The railway toilets. It's fucking hilarious.
Yes, it's we need a bit of humour and some satire. We've tried. We don't need shit like Songbird, and in times of mass calamity, because that's all it is. It's a calamity, loss of billions. They told us to do this and they advised and made it rules and regulatory, and nothing good has happened. The effect is that the Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance, their estimates, and Sage and others, 4 times the numbers allegedly. But I'm not saying that's the deaths or anything, but I don't know where they get all these numbers from and how accurate the tests are, and if they changed so many documents and procedures recently, we are finding it hard to keep up with the legislative rulings, and it's just going too fast. It's like on overload.
Has anyone seen the screenshot of the COVID swab form that goes in with the swabs? Yeah, when they're returned for testing, and there's 2 spots on it, 2 boxes. The first one says single swab, blah blah blah. Second one says multiple swab and something. You can put up to 5 swabs in one of these tubes and return it to us. So that means if one one swab is positive, all 5 are now positive.
It's not
that's
funny,
on
but
the
you're
very
laughing.
form.
Well, you
That's on the very form
Yeah.
that they're returning with this stuff. So it's just mental what's going on. And doctors and all the rest of it, they should.
Oh, the great ghost of Terence McKenna. I'll need some purple on to straighten this lot out.
Oh, that's all right. I'll speak to my boy.
It's all no, but I need to meditate on these moments. I can't see the screen. The laptop's rebooting for an update. As we're saying the long goodbye. But yeah, so I've got a screen here though. Here we go. Go old school. Yeah, we'll say goodbye, good night. 1 hour and 25. That's political, controversial, topical, and there's something in there for everybody. Let's say goodbye. Gertej has appeared. Hello there. G-Man has appeared as well, actually. What? Burn MC3. Is that you? Yes, it is. I know who that one is. Ah. Hello. I can't add moderator or anything because I've got phone only.
Scabies.
I've come to realise that when sorrow and melancholy.
Is that a field full of melons?
You love it. You bloody love that shit. Melancholy. That's right. That's what I actually said. A melancholy. No, but don't. We've distracted from the point. Tears are prayers too. When I have no words. Brought it straight back into reality. Thank you, Sister Lisa. It's true, yeah. Your emotions and ways that you think it's a language of silence. When you cry, you often are thinking at the same time. Seldom do you cry for no reason, hey? You just find yourself sat there going, oh, hysterically crying, and you're like, actually, you only cry when you're in pain. Generally, when there's a topical subject of which is near and dear to you that hurts. So you're thinking, is your language, your prayer.
I'm bereft of that at the moment. That's exactly what I need, but it just won't happen. Doing my head in. Bloody good cry. Sort me out. I'm not ashamed to say. But yes, struggling with that. That was cheerful, wasn't it?
So yeah, so I'm just reading the room, but no, thank you. It's yeah, if you can't.
I don't know how far back you've gone.
The brain. Yeah, I'm just on the phone scrolling, my man, checking the comments, and thank you, Researched Reality, for that interaction and for your.
Yeah, some good comments and interaction going on there tonight. Thank you all.
We will get multiple. We are going to get multiple chats and get on and that, but only when I get a powerful laptop that can facilitate and handle it and cast and stream it at the same time and not overheat. So, yeah, we will. I will get something sorted out maybe after the festive period. I do expect, and we will have proper tech. Studio, green screen, sound effects, everything. You're gonna love it, but
yeah.
Once we're in the private, we will sort that. The brain, not being able to cry, men, emotions, counselling, debt, misery. We'll look at this later. The brain has safety. It has the safety mechanisms in there, and just as you're about to face, sometimes I've had this myself. Is what I'm saying. I've not read this anywhere. And you try to do something, it tricks you, it makes excuses up. You have to do something happens, and you can't. You have a thought, you distract yourself. There are many things the brain does. Is it the left and the right? Is it the brain itself? Is it you? Is it your soul? Is it your spirit? I don't know, but something changes in the consciousness of you trying to address things, and it takes a long time. It takes many attempts. You know, sometimes it depends how stubborn you are, what star sign you are, and probably how much of in the brown stuff you are, and how much time you've got are all contributing reality factors to play a part. But at some point, you do need to face up to the inner demon, not the inner self. That's quite annoying. The inner demon, though, is something that is lethal if left untamed, isn't it? Mentally, the brain does have its own self-defense mechanism, which is an element of you. Yes, it's not a third party officious intermeddler from the crown, but it's a version of you in there somewhere, fighting for resistance. I yield.
Gotta fight.
You can't be a resistance type 1 but then have a brain that's plutonic. I'm sorry, but if you're in this, it's you can't be passionate and calm all times with certain times. If it's all right, we all go peace and love, and yes, isn't it lovely? And but shit's getting real. It appears.
Sometimes you've got to say fuck and bollocks. Put your boots on.
Not just for the sake of it, though. No, that's gratuitous.
No, I mean at entities.
You call them exclamations.
Yeah, factual ones.
Yeah, it's going to be another so many months of chaos, calamity, lockdown, shockdown, and I dare say Keir Starmer will be lining up for the runnings. Boris and Biden. Ooh, reds and blue, another purple shade coming.
Fight. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I might watch a bit of that tomorrow.
It's I don't really. Yeah, I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying I don't really care for that. I care what's happening on our lands, our man's bloods, and what's happening in London, the Brexit implications, exiting, the amounts of restraint that's going to be relinquished from.
I mean, we're getting shafted now. That ain't going to be a surprise, but I think it's all part of whatever the fuck is going on at the moment. These delays and all that. Now this big move to give us all communism across the world. Oh, it's mental.
Well, this is it. We've got to remember where the lines are, and the ones that like that message in the video that's now been deleted that I mentioned earlier that says doing the rounds. There is a way that we have to put the music and the theme to it. Get up, stand up for the rights, and how long would they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look, etc. Thank you, Bob. Got me out of the shit there, my man. It's I and I inside I, but that's what all we're doing. It's not that. And if you don't say something when you want to say something, and that having that regret is so annoying, because unlike the inner self, the regretful self, it's even worse than the inner self. And there's levels of inner selves, as you'll come to find, like the Russian dolls, and controlling them is quite easy for me. But you are aware of them, and we've all got them, and we all use them. Jealousy, hatred, anger, love. They're just usual emotions, but some may come with a voice, like the resentment, bitterness, jealousy, regret type area, where you speak to yourself and you have those words. Or regret in itself is often a sorrow, heart, strong emotion, and you've got to stop having that, because if you don't get up and do something productive to help or whatever, then that regret that you have is quite annoying, is it not?
Indeed.
If you get up and you do something and then you regret doing it, well, at least you did it. You know not to do it next time. Problem solved.
First attempt in learning.
Yeah, we'll sit back and continue to watch the show. It is all a show. It is all a game. I don't know how many of you have done the research into the areas of such things as, but there is an amazing amount out there to learn. We're going to put some new information, we're going to put some information in new formats for you again, other than publications and these chats idling the either way. And we'll get some simple, short, concise, critical criteria down to help out should Big Barry be back on patrol anytime soon, looking for proper tie.
Yes.
This doesn't make sense. And like I say, 50,000 deaths there under since March in this landmass alone. I know they're saying that, the change of the narrative was quite disturbing to close down on. 2 weeks ago, yes, the numbers are up, but the hospitals are doing really well and we've learned to deal with it. Yes, we're quite confident. The deaths are down, but the infections are up. Okay, yes, okay, yeah. And then the other couple that I've heard, it's the black corona mutated, and I was like, what's going on here? Well, the hospitals are at 80% capacity. We know, it's. I'm like, yes, but it's cold. We've got the flu. We've got indicative times of year. How full was you the last year? Can you compare and calm down a minute? Stop flapping there, my good man. For Christ's sake.
Well, if
And
it's mutating,
it's just, it
what's the
seems.
point in the vaccine?
Well, no, I'm just taking the piss a bit because the last couple of weeks they were saying it's all fine, it's great, the numbers are up, the deaths are down, we're doing well, there's nothing to be fearful of,
No,
everything's fine and rosy. But then
there won't be a second lockdown.
suddenly we've lost control. If you catch it, you're gonna die. We've got no room, and I'm like, hang on, why is the narrative just suddenly? And like the room said there, when we get information of upcoming issues and whatnot, when we find it from the news first and not the mouthpieces of the principals, it gets to be a bit annoying when the landmass is having a mouthpiece, talk to it. It hasn't got the gall to come out and say it itself or to echo it after the mainstream media have pre-warmed us up for the moment of truth. Will they come out and admit or deny or confirm, etc.? So it's just all of it's a farce. It is a game. It is a play. It is a show. I said to Kevin the other day, the only way I can look at this now is just one big piss take on man. Nothing serious anymore. It's all gone out the window. Anything goes. And you're not drunk, you're not stoned, you're not tripping. It's reality, Jim, but not as we know it. Let's do the
It's an
time
act.
warp. Yeah.
Oh, act. Here we go.
We're of this realm, but we play no part of it. Loss of confidence, fundamental human rights being ignored, abused, measures being taken without any affirmation of higher ascension of law or lawful bodies. Who is the liable, removal of liability for some? And it's like, hang on a minute now, this is getting a little bit like you're just making your own game up. And Priti Patel's going to be mentioned on the next cast with the establishment that's been shared in our Telegram chat, Kev. That worries me, the way that they are looking to do certain things there, potentially Home Office movements that are the bill is being passed, is all I'm going to say about, and it's going to regulate certain things in law, their Roman coded secular law that strips further fundamental rights away, as it's been proven. And we're not here to vexate, and we shouted out the constables and the police for up in Scotland for playing the part and being respectful and double checking and then going, okay, okay, cheerio, the new, you're left free to go. So we've had testification, we've got the paper-based assessment, and amongst all this calamity, we do try and bring you some little golden nuggets, some true gems. Kevin, you are a gem, and Scribes, you are also gems, midget gems.
Midget gems.
Ice gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bless up. Thank you all. And there is good happening amongst it. And we have
Keep strong. Keep moving forward. Keep the faith. Love to you all. Thanks for joining us.
One finger and thumb.
See you real soon. Much love to each and every one of you.
Did you just burp then? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, it's alright, the phone just made a funny noise and as you went, each and every one of you, and I thought it burped or it cut off.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's been
just
fun.
GCHQ again, Dave, with trigger words.
No.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, apart from the chatting when we come on here and that, you and I probably speak for best part of at least 10 hours a week outside of everything else. Just personally, don't we? Hour and a half a day.
Yeah. Indeed.
Quite amazing.
It's with a point though. It's got an objective. It's not just about the price of fish or anything. It's about how we look at act classically, because what we've come to use to get out into the private is a mixture of trust and equity, common law, international law, and some other areas of which I'm going to keep quiet. But more than one. It wasn't just a constitutional Magna Carta. Woohoo! We're out. Yeah, that was easy, wasn't it? How come never? And why I read you that story in this video about the trusts and the fires and the Romans and the manoeuvres and the games and the ways out. And yeah, so it's been an interesting journey, and we're on the way. And it's an articulation of sorts, of which has been a pure delight sometimes, and at other times horrific nightmare of grueling anguish and anger.
This is a roller coaster. Still is. We haven't come to the end.
Yeah. Chat. So we have to chat, Kevin and I, and put things together. And when new words come into play, or new dictionaries, new positions, redactions, errors, things come up, new just everything. It's a constantly evolving game platform. You interacting with us, emails, messages, posts. So then, because we are with you, and we don't just pretend to be, we actually live it and do it. We get feedback, and the feedback's been quite outstanding at the minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to then chat about that or make plans, or the situation has been quite diabolical on the other front publicly with the ministers. So then we have to chat about possible, and there's a lot of responsibility in us being able to, or me, more than anybody, the trust, being able to demonstrate at law that you are human, authentic, blood, natural flesh with a person. That means, ergo, you're in the private, no public liability. Then comes the money after the shield and the protection. That also needs a little bit of deliberation,
Indeed.
Most of you do know how to do that, though. It's all fine, and you're all very, from what we're seeing, and the feedback and the praise and grumbles and the interaction into this game, and the lawful remedy that you try to offer for legal controversies. It is lucky. Well, I say lucky. It's because of what you've done and how you've done it that you got to this point. So there's not a lot on this chat and about that would need to know or need help in managing, as that testimony that recently came in the private has shown us. So it's a moment of indeed celebration in many ways, you see, as well as fear, panic and anguish and doom and despair. Man's actually on the flip side in the private, how would you put it, making, like that graph chart where you've got 200,000 years, okay, and you've got chimp man, when we're prehistoric, let's end with the title, and you've got, it's like this, what's happened here and what's just gone off. If I could measure it on a graphical imagery scale, I would use this 200,000 years lineage, and on that 200,000 years, right, let's say 198,000 years, suddenly you've got up until that point, from the start, the increment, it slowly creeps up. Just, it doesn't spike, it doesn't dip, it's just a slow little arc from bottom going up across the thousands and hundreds of thousands of years until we get up to 198,000 years. And at 188,000 years, on this little graph here that they say of man and Homo sapiens, suddenly it shoots up at almost a 90-degree angle. Just a rapid, unnatural increase, climbing intelligence, what we did, what we left, what we built, how we did it, what we moved, evidences the historical, timeline of man, and what you're learning to do is equally as powerful as that, and it's as simple as it ever was. And when you learn, when those words are written in codified text of the Word made flesh, and certain things, and the way that the language is put, and you start to know it and believe it and use it, and it's like, even Kevin, it's not just me and the trust and the technologies and the law and the legal and the biblical and the ecclesia, and management of liabilities and contracts and trespasses and torts and how to avoid a tort and etc. It's a big old game. It's not simple. It involves a lot of shit, and you are paddling through it well. And that curvature of success and strength is rapidly accelerating, and we're seeing it, aren't we, brother? And we're feeling it. You're part of it.
Yeah, but wading on through. Good journey, but yeah, tiring. Constantly surprising.
How to prove you're not a person. I can't wait for that video. Why have I not done a video called How to Prove You're Not a Person? Oh, that's been begging to be made for years. It's like Scottish law. If anybody finds a video on Scottish law explaining all of the different words and the differences between English, if an Englishman moves up to Scotland, he wants to know where he stands. Like, I know where he stands geographically, and we'll leave the puns and the things out of that. Scottish and English jibes, we're all one family, and there can only be one. Yes, sorry, I couldn't resist. So, but the Scottish law, why, if there is a video out there of someone explaining all of this and the differences, and I'd love to see it. Because that would help out many of you tremendously.
Yeah, it is.
And us.
Lots of different, there's no trespass up there. No trespass laws.
There is in the Bible though, see?
Oh, you keep going back to your Bible.
That's it, but no, if it's a Christian nation and there's no trespass in Scotland, then that eradicates all of the strength of. And if you're a Catholic in Scotland and you want to claim trespass, say you're a Catholic bishop in Scotland somewhere, I reckon they'd be able to make a trespass charge stick, trust me.
I do trust you, David.
Ah, so there is such a thing as trespass, but I suppose not publicly, no. You're right, I'm not having a go at you, I agree, I know there isn't.
Yes, you are, that's it, it's over. I'm leaving you.
It is over, it's the long goodbye over, love.
Everybody in the room's left.
Slam the door, I heard it slam. I think Bert slammed it on his back.
These two pricks going on again. Told us 45 minutes ago they were leaving.
I can't see the room, I'm just going to say to the last ones that have commented, because that's how that stuff rolls. Burn, we have freedom to roam. Love to you in-laws, yours from G-Man. Scottish Rite, I raise your Scottish Rite with the York Rite. See you, Scotia. See you.
Maybe you meant Yorkie.
That's it. Much love, man. Lisa, ciao. James answered well. Sorry I forgot to mention James. Researched. Yes, I agreed. So you want to shout anybody out, say anything, Kevon?
No, the same research, nice comment. I was just I saw one in particular a second ago, and all of a sudden, when you suddenly can't find it. Yeah, nice comment. Thanks, Research Reality. Thanks, everybody. Some great stuff in there tonight. Good interaction. Lots of stuff going on. That's what we like to see. Excellent stuff. Much love to you all.
Retain your rights at all times. Remember, treat your person responsibly. And with the contempt it duly deserves. Accept everything, believe nothing. Check it out first. Even what we've said. Thank you, Kevin.
Hello.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
go and have a look. It's all out there.
We're moving on with many a thing. We had a nice bit of a privy private chat. We are moving, don't worry, just because we are not delivering all at once. It's underway, it's on. There's a broth being brewed, I tell thee.
Yeah, there's a massive exercise going on in the background, really.
Ghost of Christopher Hitchens, Terence McKenna, Thoth, Enki, Enlil.
Oh,
too many.
We're all over the show.
Tesla.
Bit of everything.
Who else is past and famous? Yeah. But yeah, thank you all. Much love. It has been fun. It's hard for everybody. It's despairing times. The economy, property, the rights, the times. Yeah, they are acts, they are statutory, but there's a big gang out there, and we need to orchestrate correctly. Pick your battles wisely, is what we say, and generally respect and honour is given back. But there are times when it isn't, and we have seen that. We are horrified by what we've seen with the due process that's being carried out for administrative civil issues. It's quite horrifying, and even when we're talking vulnerable now. We're talking certain disclosures are made and there is failings of and breaches. So if there is, and that's proven, then those are horrific claims and evidence is to come to light. There is evidences on police camera footage. While we tell you to go down the legal route sometimes, is because we like to get the evidences from the legal aspect and the business receipts and stuff. So what we're seeing on the body cam footage that we're getting the back for claims of is what the the sovereigns or the initiates are claiming has happened, and that they've been manhandled and had their human rights as well as common law and other rights and suffered damage and harm at the hands of malicious and rogue officers. Well, we're here to say yes, we big up the officers and say thank you. We also warn the ones that are running amok and have got an antagonistic attitude towards filth and scum and lower class, ones with titles like Mr., Mrs., Ms., these lower class, these are the lowest titles that you'll get in life with the lowest afforded amounts of rights ever. That's why they have things like doctors, lords, lairds, ladies, esquire, ambassador, diplomat. These are all the king titles and the divine rights of, but the rights to see what I mean about being born and how you have and what we claim. So it's nothing abhorrent or even sovereign or free man. It's just a matter of time now, because if we do not stand for something, we will always fall for anything, and our blood needs to not go through this shit. Agreed, sustained.
Yeah.
Our blood
absolutely.
needs to live.
I was just back to a comment from Lisa. She's saying they're bracing for all distracting bullshit after the election this week over there. Yeah, I can imagine. As I say, I might keep a little bit of an eye on it tomorrow just to see how mental it's going to go. Because it seems whichever way it goes, it's going to go mental on the demon crap side, regardless. I think shit's going to get burned. Someone's going to be mad. Yeah, don't envy you that, although you're a little bit more tucked away where you are. Thank God.
Yeah, have you had
anyway.
earthquakes? Have you had, how is it after the tremors, shocks, earthquakes, volcanoes? My goodness, Alaska's been in the news, Greece, Italy, Turkey.
Yeah, as if it ain't tough enough up there, eh?
I know, yeah. Mama's moving, something's happening, everybody's unrest, rioting, protesting in some shape, form or another. Ain't nobody happy. But yeah, we'll say good night then, bless up, 11:30, and on a nice even configuration. Good night.
Yeah, I've done an hour and a half, so you've done a bit more, that's a good go. That's what my phone says
Nearly
anyway.
2 hours, yeah, nearly 2 hours. Controversial, political, insightful, comical, historical. Here we go, prehistoric. A new era for many of us. Many of us are going to have multiple eras, or there might just be one new era that they might want to make us say hello to. Who knows?
We don't want it.
Bless up and love all.
Everybody go out and buy bows and arrows.
I'll put
crossbows.
Thank you, and we're going off then. Let's get them in, Kev.
Night all. Thank you very much. One love.
That's it. You're out of here. All right then. Thank you all. Much love. More updates through the community pages, and thank you all. I can make you blue now, Bern. Before we go. Yes, indeed. Ancient new scribe. All right then, rewind if you just joined. There's some nice points in there, I'm sure. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the time, attention, love, support. Ciao bello, ciao bella. Stay mellow.
Bye.
I don't.